Hello friends, in this video we learn about arrays. C programming language provides us with a rich set of data types. These data types are categorized into three groups: primitive data types, derived data types, and user defined data types. Primitive data types are also known as primary data types or fundamental data types. Int, float, char, all these come under the category of primitive data types. The variables of primitive data types can hold only one value at a time. However, in many cases, programs are written to deal with large number of data elements. Variables of primitive data types are not convenient in such cases. To deal with the situations where large amounts of data need to be handled, arrays are more appropriate to use. Now, what is an array? An array is a fixed size sequenced collection of elements of the same data type. In terms of computer science, we may say array is a collection of homogeneous data items for which contiguous memory locations are allocated. So, even though identified with a single name, an array contains multiple values which are of homogeneous data type, and for them continuous or contiguous memory locations are allocated. So the elements in an array are arranged in a sequence and can be referenced in a sequence. Now, how an array is declared? To declare an array, we need to specify three things. One, the data type. Two, the array name. Three, the array size. Data type indicates which kind of data the array values to be stored, and array name specifies the name of the array with which the elements are to be identified. Next comes the size. Size indicates the maximum number of values the array can hold. For example, int x of 20. It means x is an integer array capable of holding up to 20 values. In the same way, we can declare float arrays, character arrays. Now, we come to the discussion of memory allocation to the arrays. We know that an integer variable is allocated with 2 bytes of memory. For a float variable, 4 bytes of memory is required. For a character variable, 1 byte of memory is required. Now, an array may hold more than one value. So, int a of 20 means we are declaring an array A as integer array which can hold up to 20 values. So here 20 into 2. Why? Because each integer value needs 2 bytes of memory. So here A is going to have 20 values. So 20 into 2. The integer array needs here 40 bytes of memory locations. In the same way, float x of 10. X is going to have at the most 10 floating values. For each float value, 4 bytes of memory is required. So for x, as it is going to have 10 floating values, the floating array x needs 40 bytes of memory to be allocated. In the same way, char name of 26 needs 26 bytes of information because each character value needs only 1 byte of memory. Now, different kinds of arrays. There are three different kinds of arrays. One is one dimensional array, the second one is two dimensional array, and next comes multi dimensional array. One dimensional array. These are subscripted with one index variable. Why? Because even though identified by a single name, an array can hold multiple values, and each and every value should be identified with a different index value. So, int a of 10, I am saying it means a of 0, a of 1, a of 2, a of 3, a of 4, a of 5, up to a of 9. I can make the array index reference to separately identify each and every value that is stored in the array. Now, how do we assign values to an array? Just like for the variables of primitive data types, here also we can have three different ways of assigning values to an array. One is initialization of array. It will take place at the time we declare an array. Say int a of 5 is equal to within brackets some set of 5 values. So these values, by the time array is declared, will be assigned to the respective locations of array. Next, directly assigning values to the array with reference to the index values. When we write the program, we can say a of 0 is equal to 75, a of 1 is equal to 27. In the same way, for all the index values, we can directly make the assignment of values when we write statements as part of our program. Next comes dynamic assignment of values. That is what we can do at the time of running the program. So when we run the program, we can enter the values to the array through keyboard. These values one by one are taken and assigned to the appropriate positions of array. This is achieved using scanf statement. And what kind of operations we can perform on a one-dimensional array? On one-dimensional array, the frequently or widely applied operations are searching, sorting, merging arrays, etc. Searching means to check whether a given number is present in the list of array elements. Next, sorting means given an array, arranging the elements of the array in ascending order or descending order. Merging, two arrays are given and the two are merged to formulate a new array. Next comes the discussion of two-dimensional arrays. Simply speaking, what is a two-dimensional array? Two-dimensional array. It is nothing but array of arrays. They represent, they look like a matrix. What is a matrix? It is nothing but the numbers arranged in a rectangular or a square format. Just like Each and every element of a matrix is referenced with its subscripts. Given a matrix A00, A01, A02, A03, A10, A11, A12, A13. In this way, each and every element of a matrix is identified. Like that, a two-dimensional array, the declaration is int a of 10, 10. Means here we are declaring an array A with 10 rows, which is capable of holding 10 values. So 10 by 10. So whenever we are going to make the reference of any particular element in a two-dimensional array, we need to specify both the index references. So A 10 5, it means from the 10th row, fifth element we want to reference. A 4 7, that means in the fourth row, seventh element we need to get. Using variables A, I, J, we say. So in this way, two-dimensional arrays are used. And what is the use of two-dimensional arrays? To perform several matrix operations through our programs. Two-dimensional arrays are more convenient and more appropriate, allowing us to perform different matrix operations like matrix addition, matrix subtraction, matrix multiplication, matrix inverse, any operation involving matrices. They could be achieved with the usage of two-dimensional arrays. In the next video, I will be coming to you with a new concept of C programming language.